So Chloe's beautiful skin is cleansed and moisturised. I'm going to use a primer now. This is the Rosy Instant Glow Primer, which I'm just applying with a brush. Really gives a nice kind of like warm glow to the skin. But what's also quite nice about this primer is a lot of glowy ones have a lot of slip to them and can be too shiny, whereas this one still has some hold and doesn't go too kind of glossy throughout the day. Moving straight onto foundation now, and I'm using the Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation in the shade 2W. This is a really lovely match with Chloe's skin because it doesn't go too shiny, this foundation, but gives a really kind of beautiful light to sort of medium buildable coverage. So I'm just working this into the skin with the same brush, and then we're going to follow with concealer. Foundation looks so beautiful on you, Chloe. I'm going to use this really beautiful concealer now. This is the Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer, which I'm just taking from the back of my hand and applying around the eye area. It's a really kind of lightweight, creamy. I also find it a little bit brightening, which is why it's nice around the eye area. But you can use it on blemishes and anywhere you need to conceal too. Setting the skin now with a little bit of the Dior Loose Setting Powder, mainly kind of focusing on the center area of the face where I don't want it to pick up too much shine. Now that we have this perfect base on the skin, I'm going to move on to eyes, just using a little bit of the NARS Shadow Primer in the shade Medium, which I'm going to just pop over Chloe's lids, and then we're going to follow that with a pencil. But this is just going to help to keep everything in place and give us a really kind of even, smooth base for our eyeshadow look. Because I want this look to be super pretty and rosy for Valentine's Day, I'm using this liner, which is a Marc Jacobs highliner in the shade Fine Wine, and I'm just sketching along the lash line, and I'm going to blend that out. And what that does is having that pencil along the lash line before we apply the shadow will just give us a little bit more of that kind of pink intensity just along the lash line. Also just popping a little bit of that line out just in the very outer corner. I'm not going to take it all the way across the bottom lash line. Just in this corner here is going to really help to elongate the shape of the eyes. So that's kind of our base to the look, and now I'm going to use the Spectrum Zodiac palette, which has this beautiful kind of metallic, rosy maroon almost in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to literally press that on top of the area where we've applied the pencil, and it just really helps to kind of, that pencil helps it to stick so that we get this beautiful shimmery metallic finish. So just pressing it all across the lash line. I'm going to blend that right up into the socket too. So that's the shade Red Moon, literally just pressed into the lids and then slightly blended up here. Now I'm taking this kind of medium shade, which is called Celestial, and I'm just going to use this to like really kind of blend and soften in that socket and kind of just around the eyes and a little bit underneath too. Look up for me. Now I'm just going to take some of the little black shadow on a tiny little brush here, and I'm going to press that just in the very corners of the eyes along the lash line. So in the outer corner, also in the inner corner, and a little bit underneath the lash line, just to give us a little bit more kind of smoky definition to this look. I just want to give a pop of something shimmery to that look, so I'm using this shade, which is called Constellation, and actually using a finger rather than a brush, just to literally press that in the center of the lid. And it's so pretty, this shade, because it's kind of gold, but actually it's got a little bit of pink iridescence running through it, so it works really well with the eyeshadow look. I'm going to line along the top lash line now, just kind of from halfway, just to give us a little bit of a wing. I love this shade on your eyes, Chloe. Would you ever wear a shade like this normally?
No, I have done before, but I've not in a very long time, but it looks amazing.
So pretty, especially on light eyes. Just going to pop a few lashes on now before we apply mascara. These are my no lash individuals, because I just want it to be really kind of pretty and feathery, this look. So starting always on the outer corner of the eyes, lid, if that makes any sense. And then I work my way all the way across the lid, and then sometimes add a few longer lengths just in the outer corner, and then that still gives a kind of very natural progression of length across the... So I'm just going to pop some mascara on those lashes now. This is the Spectrum Dark Matter Mascara. Such a good mascara, this, because it really adds length and volume. And also, if you've got nice long lashes, especially underneath, I find this one doesn't transfer under the eyes, which is always a great find when you can find a mascara that doesn't move. So now onto brows. I put a little bit of a fixing spray in my soap brows tin, and I feel like I've been waiting for this moment because Chloe has such beautiful brows. I'm combing them up. Well, crazy brows are breast brows. Breast brows? This is just going to look super, super gorgeous to have these really lovely bushy brows with this look. So I'm just combing them up, and then I'm going to fill in any little gaps that might be there. Obviously Chloe's got such fab brows that they really don't need too much help, but I'm just taking a little bit of Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Gel on an angle brush, and I'm just going to kind of fill in this area here and just elongate them here, make them a little bit more kind of regular and smooth by filling in this area here. Before we were rudely interrupted by the loudest doorbell in the world.
Oh, literally made me jump.
Yeah. When I first moved into this place and the door used to go, I'd like jump out of my skin every time.
So loud.
So I just want to kind of elongate the shape and just... Now I'm just taking a little bit of that lighter kind of gold shade called Constellation from that Spectrum palette and just press that in the inner corner of the eye. So pretty, that little touch of light there. So eyes are done, and I just want to add a little bit of sculpting to the skin. I'm using the Lion King by Luminous and Sir John contour palette, which is such a great palette because there's lots of lovely shades for all different skin tones in this. So just really sculpting under Chloe's cheekbones, a little bit across the top of the forehead, and just along the jawbone here. It's a really pretty shade. Pinky tint, so I want to keep kind of with the theme of this rosy, beautiful Valentine's inspired shade and just swipe that all over cheekbones, and because it's got that pinkiness you can almost use this as a glowy blush. So now that that sculpting's on, I want to add a little bit of highlight. This is the Spectrum Zodiac Moonlight Highlighter. It's got these kind of little pinky kind of detail in it, and actually that gives the highlight a really kind of rosy. Now onto lips. I'm lining with a MAC pencil in the shade Strip Down, which actually you got me onto, Chloe. Such a good nude, this one. And the best nude on you. Lipstick I'm going to use is the Spectrum lipstick in the shade Element, which is a matte lipstick. And a little trick when you want to apply a matte lipstick with a lip brush is I put a tiny bit of balm just on that brush, and that gives you a little bit of slip, but you still get that matte finish from the lipstick. It's a really pretty shade, this. It's got a tiny bit more pink than the liner, which I think will help it match with the rest of the look really well. So, makeup's done. I'm just going to set it now with this Urban Decay setting spray. Just a really light mist. And then Patrick is going to give us some gorgeous hair to go with this look, and we'll show you the finished result.